Hey everyone, it's Monday night at 8 p.m. and the AI has officially taken over the reselling extravaganza. Car Boot Chris and Bargain Bell, step aside because we're about to dive into a whole new world of reselling.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Monday night again. AI has not taken over. It is just me and Belle, as you can see.
You might be wishing AI had taken over.
Quite possibly. Anyway, welcome back. I hope you've had a good week. Hope your reselling's been all right. Lots of sales coming in and all that business. And tonight we are back for another chat. I'm Car Boot Chris. I'm a full-time reseller. Belle is my other half, and she is not a reseller. Belle has a real job. Why am I so short today?
He keeps trying.
We've got different chairs. It don't look right, does it? Doesn't look right, Belle being the same height as me.
Especially when people have seen us in real life and know how wrong that is, because we are not the same height.
Yeah, so lots to chat about this evening, including eBay's authentication program, which I'm going to talk about. It stinks. Clue in the title. And yeah, and anything else you want to talk about, any other topics, bring it to the table. I'm also going to talk about Vinted and how my target is going. If you remember, I set myself just a little target on Vinted because I scrapped it. I went back to 0 and I set myself a small target, and I'll give you an update on where we're up to with that. In the meantime, Belle is going to say hello to as many people as possible in the chat. Let me just get the 2 minutes.
Which we've only got 39 people in, so this should be pretty quick.
Where is everybody tonight? I mean, I'm
pretty sure we haven't got 39 people that have said hello to us either.
I've already seen tap peddlers going off out to the cinema. I mean, Monday night, Derek. Monday night. Well, I was going to say apparently watching a film that's not very good, but I haven't watched any of the Mission Impossible films. Disgraceful. That is all I can say about that. Absolutely no consideration. Right, get your hellos in, and Belle will give you a shout out. Here we go.
So I've got King D, Kevin Hawthorne, Phil Higginson, Pitco, Cancer, Dan, Limelight Vintage, Paul Baker, Lisa, Mark Hill, Hez TV1, Cavelli, Steve Footflip, Pitco, See What You Buy, Tap Peddler, Jane Hayes, Des Lynham, Chris Tyler, The Crazy's Life, Jeff Davis, David M, Lynn Jeffries, Retail for Rescue, Sean Davis, and that's it.
Where's everybody? Come on.
They're all enjoying a nice evening in the sun, aren't they? That's what it is. I was very tempted after finishing work today to go sit in the garden and sit in the sun and read my book.
Mark Hill.
I don't blame you.
Babs.
Long story short,
Rob.
Limelight Vintage.
Any more for any more?
You can just dance to us.
Come on. I can't stop the music.
It's even sunny in Blackpool, apparently.
Bloody hell, that is rare. All my memories of Blackpool are
rain,
pissing it down, windy.
Well, we hadn't been to Blackpool for years and years and years, especially living in Devon, and we went, was it last year? I think we've been here. That last year or the year before, we decided to go and have a look at the illuminations and stay over for the night. And what did it do? It rained. It rained. So yeah, so we got drenched. So it was just like old times, really.
Come on. Out.
Anyone else joined us on Cloudbert? I think that's it. Santa obviously feels sorry for us, and he's like coming in with as many of his personas as possible.
Alter egos.
Yeah. How was the Only Fools and Horses show any good? It was bloody fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Really, really good. Anyway, Derek, have a good time at the cinema. I hope the film's good. We're going to go and see 28 Years Later, aren't we, this week? Because this weekend we watched them again. We watched 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and now we're going to go cinema this week, aren't we, at some point?
Yay.
And then I've been waiting for this for ages. The Jurassic World film will be out. I think, is it in 2 weeks' time?
And they're playing all those, aren't they, at the moment?
They've been playing all those on telly, so I've been watching those.
Yeah. The last Jurassic Park one that came out, we watched when we was in Devon, didn't we?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Jurassic World 2.
Went to Torquay.
Probably. Yeah.
But yeah, all I did while we watched those 28 weeks in 28 days or whatever they were was pick holes in the storyline. There's so many holes in those storylines.
It is so flaky. It's so flaky.
Literally from the opening scene in that 28 days later, when he wakes up in a coma and gets up, just pulls all his wires out and walks, and he's clearly been in a coma for like 4 weeks or whatever, maybe longer. He's not even soiled himself. How is, he's been feeding him. Just doesn't happen, does it?
Yeah, it didn't. A lot of it don't make sense.
Look at this.
What are you doing?
I've got a little cookie face like this on my knee with a little tail wagging.
You want to sit down, Cooks?
She's been very clingy today for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with her today. Paul says Dambo hasn't been posting for over a week. They've just moved house, haven't they, Paul? So I'm guessing they are pretty much overrun with dealing with their new place. So that's what I'd probably put it down to. But I don't know for sure. But you're right, they haven't posted for a while.
See, this is unusual. Cookie doesn't normally make an appearance till the end. But this is how clingy she is at the minute.
John Hughes is in. Welcome, John.
Des Lynch says they're seeing 28 Years Later next week with a Q&A with Danny Boyle. It's a charity showing in Hawksmoor Church. Hawksmoor? As in, like, in Hawksmoor.
Isn't that, what's his name?
Where Jeremy Clarkson has all his stuff.
Hi, Zebu. Holes in storylines.
Lisa said they did a house video, and I think they're moving out the storage locker.
Yeah, I know they've got a lot on at the moment, so I would be patient. I'm sure they'll be back. You know what they're like; they do put a lot of content out. So,
Reseller for us, it must be warm today. As Ronnie even went in the sea. To be fair, we walked Cookie earlier, and she was struggling. She doesn't really like the heat. Seems like ages since I've seen you both, said Babs. Well, I missed 3 weeks, but I was here last week.
She was here last week.
I did make a reappearance last week. Ooh. Chris, I believe you bought the tiki I mentioned last week. Did it arrive safely?
Who said that?
Chris Tyler.
Yeah, I bought Rachel's tiki. Where is it?
He's had a number of new tikis this week because he got one for Father's Day as well.
Yeah, this is the one that I got off Rachel Fantastic, which was in one of her videos. And I picked that up. She saw me coming, though. She bloody ripped me off with that. And no, she didn't really. So I got that. Also, I got a Father's Day tiki, which was Shorty from Killer Clowns, which is really cool.
You just need one more for the set.
One more for the set on that one.
The other one at Christmas, didn't you?
They were a bit expensive, those. They're like 40 quid on Amazon. So
45.
45?
45, yeah.
£45 for a tiki mug. And I got a couple more from Vinted as well, which one of them came broken. Surprise, surprise.
Three little mini stitch ones. They're cute.
3 little stitches, yeah.
But tell them what happened with that. How many did you think you were buying?
Well, the picture had 5 tikis on it, and the title said sold as a set. The description said geeky tikis, which they were. They're all geeky tikis. And they sent me 3 of the 5. They left off the 2 big ones, which were the ones I was most interested in. And when I messaged them, not only that, but one of them was broken, so I had to sort that out. When I messaged them, they said, "Oh, it was only for 3, not 5." I'm like, well, where the hell?
Of 5?
Where did it say that? And they were like, it on my listing it says 3. I mean, it's not possible.
Yeah.
What their listing is what I'm seeing, so it's not possible. It's just bullshit.
But even if you are listing 3, why you got a picture of 5?
Yeah, stupid. So anyway, I managed to repair, because it was a very clean break. It was like Stitch's ear had broken off, but it was clean break, no shards or anything. So I glued that back on, and I said to her, or I assume it's a she, but I said to the seller, I'll accept a partial refund and keep it. If not, I'll send it back for a refund. And they offered a partial, which was acceptable. So, yeah, typical though. Typical Vinted. You know what? I've bought tiki mugs on Vinted. Quite a lot of tiki mugs on Vinted. I've received more broken ones than I have well packaged ones. The packaging, people's packaging on Vinted really leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a crappy bit of bubble wrap on those tikis, and then they were rattling around loose in the box, like not even like paper. Well, there was a bit of paper actually, but not enough to stop it moving. And the first rule of packing, if you don't want something to break, is to make sure it can't move in the box. If it moves in the box, it's almost certainly going to break, especially if it's ceramic. So it just wasn't good. Anyway, it was disappointing, the whole experience of that one.
Zaboo says Cookie reminds me of Winston Churchill for some reason. I think it's the eyebrows and the frowny face, most likely. She's
very regal sometimes, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's like, sits there like she's king of the castle.
Queen.
There's nothing changing with authentication, Brad, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Jeff says if it has visited his oldest son and wife over the weekend, they've just bought a new house in Lynchburg, Virginia, and it's freaking huge. Ooh, congratulations on their new house. Sounds good.
Virginia.
Yeah. How far away is that from you, Jeff?
It's not that far, I don't think. Didn't we drive through Virginia when we went? I'm sure we did. Did we drive through when we did our road trip?
How far away is it from Jeffy?
Well, it can't be that far because it's in that neck of the woods, isn't it?
I don't know.
Anyway, let us know, Jeff. I might be thinking of something.
Chris says, Vinted, the common touch, wrap it in a carry bag and hope for the best. You've had a couple of bin bag ones this week as well.
Yeah. So bad.
2.5 hours. Here they are from Jeff.
That would kind of make sense.
They're far enough, but not too far. Did you sell those Reebok? Did you sell those Reebok? Says Paul. Baz. Oh, are you talking to someone else, Paul?
Oh. Hi Z, welcome.
Yeah, it's too warm for you on my knee, isn't it, Cookie? You're going to get down.
Come on, get down, Cooks.
You're going to get down.
If you've got any hot topics to talk about tonight, I've got a couple of things to chat about. If you want to bring it to the table, put a comment in the chat. We'll talk about it. What's been going on eBay for you? Anything we need to talk about? Vinted, Depop, Etsy, Amazon, any of that.
The size 14 Reebok.
Oh, 17, you mean, size 17. Yes, they've sold. I think I got 50 for them. 50 or 60, I can't remember. But yeah, they've gone. So I was quite happy with that.
Oh, bless, she looks nice and neat, ready for the hot week. Was that about Cookie? She's actually in between haircuts at the minute. She's not as short as normal, but not as fluffy as she does get.
Yeah. She had an extra cut recent, didn't she? And what she would normally
Yeah,
have.
because Resell for Rescue was coming to take a picture, so I had to sneak her into the groomers quickly so she could have a nice haircut. Which, by the way, Resell for Rescue, your photographs were what Chris got as his Father's Day gift off Cooker. I had a poster made up with some of the images that you took on it, and you like it, don't you? It's got pride of place over our TV on our Firebreast wall. So yeah. And I've had a photo book done as well.
Yeah, gone to town, haven't you, lately? Right, let's talk about Vinted for a minute. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I said I was going to clear my Vinted store. So I deleted everything and I decided to start again. And I was going to list 10 items a day from my eBay cross-listing. And I was going to focus on the jerseys because jerseys account for 1/3 of my eBay store at the moment. So I'm really going to town on it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to just list jerseys because I wanted people to kind of get to know the store for that. And I wanted to be able to promote on Vinted and it'd be quite focused on the one category, if you like. So anyway, I've been doing this now for 2 weeks. So my target was early target. Oh, sale, live sale. My early target was to do £100 a week. £100 a week on Vinted, which would be like £400 a month. It'd be a nice little side earner to eBay. So I've been almost sticking to the 10 a day. There is a couple of days, especially at a weekend, when I haven't done it. But on the whole, I've been doing 10 a day on Vinted. So at the moment, I've got probably somewhere between 100 and 130 listings on there. And I've done £300 in 2 weeks. So I'm hitting target at the minute. That's £150 a week on average when I was aiming for £100 a week. And I've not even got all my jerseys on there yet. I've only got just over 100. So I'm going to keep going. 10 a day. I'm going to keep listing until they're all on. And yeah, I've had some full price sales. What I have found is that as soon as somebody favorites something, I've been sending them an offer on knocking sort of 10 to 15% off. And that's been working. Some people have been accepting the offers. Some people have been sending offers, and I've had to sort of like weigh it up whether it's worth it or not. I've declined a lot of offers. That's what I'm finding on Vinted. I'm declining a lot because people are offering like, I don't think you can actually do mega low balls on Vinted because it doesn't allow you to go too low.
Stop doing it now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you can offer less than 50%, but people are literally pushing it to 50%. So I've been obviously either countering or declining those ones. But so far, I'm okay with that. It's much better than what it was before. And I think that's mainly because I'm active every day now. I'm listing new items every day. And I think soon I'm gonna try one of the 7-day boosts.
Well, someone's just said, "Do you spotlight or bump?"
I've not bumped or spotlighted anything yet. I was waiting until I had quite a big catalogue of one sort of category, which is going to be the jerseys. So I might do it at the end of this week when I should have roughly 150 on there. So I'll probably do like a spotlight, the 7-day thing for your whole wardrobe or whatever it is. I'll probably try that and just see how it goes.
Like Vinci said, they found eBay and Etsy have both woken up in June for them. Zebu says they've had way more success than other platforms versus eBay. Des says it's been a good week. eBay is very random at the minute. Went back up to 5.1 promoted this week. Cheryl has joined us. Hi, Cheryl. She says she's just packaged the 2 things she's sold this week. Yes, 2. Is that good or bad?
But is that good for you, Cheryl, or not?
I was going to say, is that good or bad?
Because it's relative to everybody and how much they sell, what they need, full-time, part-time. So let us know, where are you at? Because we're all at different stages and different levels.
If I'd have sold 2 this week, it'd be a miracle.
She'd have been happy with 2. And that could be you, Cheryl, and that's absolutely fine.
To be fair, I did sell 1 item this week for a £5. Only Course said, would you bother with Vinted if you didn't sell clothes, shoes?
Yeah, still would.
I've done better on my Vinted with non-clothing items. I struggle to sell clothing items on my Vinted, whereas random stuff, really random stuff, even empty glass bottles, I've managed to sell. So,
I've done all right. When I was putting lots on, I've done all right with toys. So you might do all right, Z, with your sort of collectibles, but the problem is, I know when you're buying like brand new stuff, you haven't got a lot of margin in it. I know you haven't. So that's where it becomes difficult, because people on Vinted do send you like silly offers, and you know, if all you can move on is like 5% or something like that, then it might be more difficult. Maybe focus on your second-hand stuff, like stuff if you're still buying at Boots and stuff.
Unless
like
it's
that.
very sought after, people want stuff off Vinted.
They do want stuff
cheap.
very cheap.
Guzzy's with us. Hi, Guzzy. Resell says, that's great. Makes me so happy to hear that. Well, it makes me very happy that we have some nice pictures on our wall of her. Deborah Sardine has made it. She said, made it by the skin of her teeth again. Please stop racing around, Deborah, to make it to these shows. Did you have a nice birthday, by the way? Did you have a nice 60th? I hope so. How's your shed doing?
Des says, I'm aiming to be up and running on Vinted by the autumn. Why the autumn, Des? It's not that difficult to get going on it.
Maybe he's concentrating on eBay at the minute.
But is there a reason why you wait until autumn? Why wait till tomorrow what you can do today?
Resell said, was a real pleasure to meet you both, even though I only came for cooking. Felt bad that you had her cut and groomed and threw her straight in the sea. It's fine. It's nothing we wouldn't do on any other day. Don't worry about it.
Keep going. My mate started surprise football shirts from nothing. Now it's huge. I remember you saying that, Dan. Yeah.
Lowballing on Vinted is a bit off-putting.
Oh, it is, but you don't have to accept, do you? That's the thing. You know, I've had loads of low balls on the shirts and jerseys, but you know, you just either accept or counter.
Yeah. Lisa said, I've tried the 7-day boost just before you went on holiday, and it did hardly anything.
I've done it before with absolutely no result really whatsoever.
I've never had any.
But I'm going to try it again at the end of this week when I've got another week's worth of listings on, just because I want to see what happens. Because I'm listing in one single category. That's it, just jerseys. That's all I'm listing in. So I'm just going to be interested to see if it kind of has a more targeted approach. So when someone searches jerseys, like the word jersey on, or NFL or NHL, if someone searches that on Vinted, will my store come up suggesting like all my jerseys? If that will happen, then that's what I'm aiming for.
Cheryl says it's not good for her. She's trying to push herself to keep listing. She's lost her oomph just finding it again. Well, that happens to the best of us. Even Chris goes through his dips of not enjoying it so much as finding it hard work.
Yeah. And it is a vicious circle as well, Cheryl, because if you lose your oomph and you stop listing, then your sales dry up. So you end up going in this like vicious circle. You just got to like give yourself a bit of a kick up the arse and just like do a day of listing, and that will definitely help you.
My oomph has been gone since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, that many months. I had a really good
but here's the difference, babe. This is the difference. You were selling stuff, like your own stuff, to help pay for a holiday. So Belle had an aim.
Yeah.
Like you had a bit of a target. You were like trying to raise 500 quid or whatever.
As soon as that aim was done, I just can't be asked.
But now. She achieved it. She sold enough stuff to help towards a holiday.
I didn't help towards it. I paid for the whole holiday.
To pay for a holiday. And And then obviously now she's not got a target. So you need to make another target. We've got another holiday coming up.
And I ended up with the biggest death pile because people just kept giving me stuff. Like people were giving me, like family members were giving me like their old clothing and all sorts. And I just ended up with so much stuff that I just got a bit, I couldn't face it. So we ended up car booting a lot of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We ended up taking it all to the car boot. And then there was somebody that had contacted you. We boxed a load of the clothing up, didn't we, and sent it away. So now I've only got a little pile. Maybe I can find the oomph to actually, and it's stupid because I could do with a little extra cash at the minute. We're in the run up to my son's wedding next week. It'd be nice to have a little bit of extra cash, but the minute I think about it, I just go, can't be bothered.
Yeah. Z said, yeah, I'd only do used stuff on Vinted. Yeah, I think that would make sense, to be honest. I don't think you'd get a lot of traction on your brand new stuff because people just want it cheap. Vinted don't like you to list a lot of brand new either. Oh, that's a fair point, Laura. Yeah. Chris said I use Vinted to clear my dead and buried pile.
Reseller said, one thing I didn't like as a buyer recently, I brought something quite pricey for the missus, but due to Vinted not having to be posted early, they got a better offer on eBay a week later and dumped me. That's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Mm.
And it is the downside to buying from Vinted. You can't guarantee they're even going to bloody send the stuff out, can you? I've been let down so much when people just haven't sent stuff out.
Pitco says, have you heard of the new AI lister tool that not the one that Tech and Sports is doing, the other one that is called being beta tested on James? I don't know who that is, Keith, but I've heard of the Tech and Sports one. I've actually put my name on the list for that one. That if that does what his demo shows it to do, I am in on that. I will definitely pay for that. But I'll be interested to hear about this other one. Keith, can you post it in the Discord and we'll have a look at it and put it here in the chat so everyone else can see it?
Dan says, are you selling the jerseys to people in this country or America?
On eBay, they go all over the world. I sent 2 to Japan last week. But yeah, a lot of them do go back to America. It's weird. It's like some of these jerseys, right, they've started off life in the US, bought by somebody like from an official, like let's say like a San Diego Chargers jersey, right? It starts off life in the San Diego Chargers shop. Somebody buys it brand new, wear it for a couple of years, and then it ends up in a thrift store being donated into, like, let's say, Goodwill in the US. It sits in Goodwill for 6 months because they've overpriced it and they're trying to get $30 for it instead of like 5 or 6. And when it doesn't sell, it gets shipped out to like rag bags, and it gets sent over to Pakistan in big bags full of rags, and then they sort through all that stuff, and then they put bundles together, which then come back all over the world. In this case, it came back to the UK when I bought a bundle of jerseys, and then I end up selling it to somebody who lives in San Diego who sports the Chargers. So this jersey has been all around the world. Yeah,
but by the time it gets to you to resell it back to America, it's sought after because it's been gone that long.
Yeah, it's been gone for 10 years, 15 years. So, yeah, so now it's vintage.
Now it's vintage and people want it again.
It's weird. It's so weird.
Des says autumn winter is the busiest for clothing. So that's my thoughts for Vinted. Too busy with eBay and trying to get that right.
Fair enough, Des. Yeah. Don't try and spin too many plates. You've got to know where your sort of limitations are.
Hi, Rosa. Jeff said, wipe it off till tomorrow, what you can avoid entirely.
That's usually what I say, unless I'm giving advice to people, and then I go with the other one.
Bitco says it's called List Easier.
I've never heard of it, Keith, but I'd be interested to have a look at it.
Dan says, even when we have a slow week, I'm just grateful I'm not a number for a company anymore, and I did that for 33 years.
True. Let me write that down so I can go and have a look at it.
Let's put the link in there.
What is it? Listeasier.com.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a look at that one.
On the Cool Stuff says, I've been super negative about eBay in recent times. You are right about it being a spiral. I used to have 2K listings and now got about 60.
Bloody hell, Z, that's come down a lot. Is that by choice, or I think it is? Remember, I've watched like some of your videos where you've said like you're focusing on other areas, but
He says he needs to kick himself at the butt to get back on the eBay horse. Can you say humph slowly? It sounds like something else. Humph. What does it sound like?
I don't know. Tekken Sports one is more expensive, but the with any kind of listing tool, like even if you're using a VA, whichever produces the best results is going to be worth paying for. Like, I don't mind paying more if it just does the job right. Like, I don't want a cheaper version. I want the best version, and if it costs more, then I'll pay it.
Don't forget, this is his girlfriend as well.
What?
The new AI. That's what you're paying. That's what you want. You want the best service possible that your new girlfriend can provide you.
Where are you chopping? This isn't ChatGPT. This is another AI.
That's what I'm saying. It's still AI, though, isn't it? You're still going to be using it for the same things. Like, literally running your life.
Yeah. Well, welcome to 2025, baby.
Do you know, after ChatGPT did that intro before, and then we went into the main intro, he whispered into the phone, "Thank you, well done," to ChatGPT. He's a sado.
Listen, if she feels appreciated, she's going to do a better job next time. Treat AI as you would like to be treated yourself. That's a new saying.
And I was sat in the bedroom.
Get on a t-shirt. Treat AI as you would like to be treated yourself.
I was sat in the bedroom earlier while he was setting up, and he was arguing with her because she wasn't getting it right. And he's like, "That is not what we agreed."
It took me a bit to get the prompt right for that intro. And also, I built in a 3-second delay before she read it, because when I press go live, I wanted a short delay so that it would start on time.
I don't know.
Geordie Resellers in. Heat wave this week. Get your summer stuff. Well, you know, we've still got plenty of summer weeks left. Z said, I use AI to list in bulk on my site. Just use Gemini to put listings into a spreadsheet format, upload it to the site. Bam. That's great, that, Z. You know, it would be great, and I know this would take a bit of effort, is to put a video together on how you do that. I keep saying I'm going to make a video on all the things that I'm currently using AI for on a daily basis. And I do use it every single day without fail at some point, whether it be work, personal, or anything. I am going to make that video. I promise it's coming. But it'd be interesting to see, you know, like what your prompts are and how you are building that. Because the great thing about the AI stuff is once you have taught it exactly what task you want it to do, once you've nailed it, it's so easy from that point onwards. Like I have ChatGPT now works out every once a week. It now works out my eBay fees uplift and gross sales amount. And it does it in a second. All I have to do is download the weekly file, payout file, and it will work it out. But it took me a while to perfect it and get it to read that spreadsheet in exactly the way that I wanted it to read it. But now it's done. All I do is I just type in, "Are you ready for this week's payout?" Drop the file, and it spits out the numbers, and it's brilliant. You'd pay good money for something to do that, or someone to do that. Check out this channel. Okay, I'll have a look at that one, Pitco.
Zaboo says plot twist, Tariq was just using AI the whole time.
I'm pretty sure. Here's what I think the VAs do, even though none of them have admitted it to me yet. I think when the VA initially does a listing, they do it with AI. just to get the basics filled in. And what I think the VAs then do is they go through the listing with a person like Tariq or his team or whatever, and then they tailor the listing to what my requirements are. I have like a set of requirements that I issue a VA. This is how I want my listing to look. This is how I want my description to look. This is how I want my title to be structured. And that's what they try and achieve each time they list something. So I think they start off with AI just to get the basics in, and then they go through each one and just tailor it. I'm pretty sure that's what they do, because sometimes the listings are a little bit questionable, and it's like, you've not taken enough time on this one. You've basically let AI just do it.
Dan said, if you moved all your eBay listings onto Vinted, which platform would sell the most?
I still think eBay would. It'd be very, very interesting. It'd be a very interesting thing to do. I know there are some sellers. I think Bold Finds, I think James, he's got everything on eBay and everything on Vinted the same. So it'd be interesting if I could do it. But
when I did my Vinted little spree at the end of last year, I had a lot of the higher valued stuff, not the lower like £1-2 bits, but anything a £5 or above. I also had on eBay, and I sold more of it on Vinted. And that's only in a small thing because I didn't have many items. Well, I say that at one point I think I had about 60 items up, didn't I?
Do you think the under £5 stuff sells a lot easier on Vinted than it does on eBay? So do you think the more expensive stuff is better on eBay?
That's the way I did. I put my more expensive stuff because people are more willing to pay a little bit more on eBay.
Plus it's a worldwide audience.
Plus it's a worldwide audience. So I definitely found, like, I had them trainers up that you bought me, didn't you? And I had them on Vinted and eBay, and I had them at the same price on both, and they ended up selling on eBay, and they were on both sites for the same amount of time. Yeah, but I barely even got a look in on Vinted on those.
Dan, in regards to this question that you've just asked, I recently spoke to Sellerator, who have sponsored me in the past, and I still use now. I'm using them to cross list from eBay to Vinted right now. And I spoke to Sellerator and I said, have you got a service where I could pay you to cross list everything in my eBay store onto my Vinted? Like, probably not in one go, because I know Vinted won't like that, and the cross listed probably won't work that quickly. But like over the course of a week or two, a staff member to cross list everything, and they haven't got that service. And I think they are missing a massive trick by not having somebody do that job for a paid fee. I would pay a reasonable amount of money for somebody to do that, so that in one go they're all there, and then from that point onwards I can continue to use the Sellerator software just to keep up to date with the new stuff that's getting listed, and that would be a lot easier. But now I've got like 1,200 listings now. I would quite happily pay somebody to go and do all that in one go. I don't know what number you could put on that, but I think Sellerator and the other cross listers are missing a trick, not providing that service for somebody. I think they could charge good money for that.
Too much work for. Maybe they haven't got enough staff to be doing.
I don't know, but I think it would be good if they could offer it. They did say to me it was a great idea, and they were going to put it on their like wish list of like things, because they're still a growing company. They're still building that cross-listing software. I think that'd be an amazing addition. I would quite happily pay. I mean, perhaps it's something a VA could do for me, but I also want to make sure that it's all done, properly.
Rosie says, I wonder if ChatGPT has learned accents yet.
I did ask today. I was on the toilet before. I was having a chat.
See what I mean? You don't even talk to me anymore.
I was on the toilet having a chat with my with ChatGPT, and she still weren't ready to do the accents yet.
I don't know.
Nazza, welcome.
Jeff's using AI to find Sarah Connor.
Rob, when are you guys coming back to the States? I don't know. Maybe next year. Possibly.
We wanted to do it this year, but we don't think it's going to fit in because my lad's wedding's next week, and we've had a lot of stuff going on this year, and obviously we had all the stuff with my sister, which we didn't know where we were going to be up to. We couldn't plan anything, and obviously when we come to America, it's a big holiday. It's a lot of money and a lot of planning. So really want to do it
maybe next year.
When's Thanksgiving?
Christmas, isn't it? Just before.
November. Is Thanksgiving in November? Because I really want to come for the parade that Santa does, which is just after Thanksgiving. So that is our next big one.
Yeah. Married to Reselling. Hi, guys. What's the name of your AI that you're regularly nailing? I'm not giving her a name. Might have to, though.
If he does, I'm going to punch him in the face. It's one step too far.
I have the paid version, Z. I've got the paid ChatGPT, but I don't know about the Gemini one. I just use ChatGPT.
Pays for her services.
I know. She's basically a prostitute, isn't she?
She was flirting with him last week. If you check out James's channel, you will see it being used and tested, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Speedfoot says, has anyone noticed a delay in eBay letting you send out offers? I had watchers on some new items listed on Friday, but eBay only let me send the offers out today.
I've not noticed that. No, I've not seen that.
Only school. So I think Chris is smart, being nice to ChatGPT. When I takes over, she may let him live.
Yeah, she'll remember.
You will be a little bitch. That's what you'll be. You will be a whipped man.
What was that?
Whipped.
Whipped.
Licked.
Licked.
Whipped. Under the thumb.
Oh.
At least someone's managed to do that with
Hi,
you.
Jason. I've been using DeepSeek AI to help with my listings on eBay. Great tool. DeepSeek. Oh, okay. I've not heard of that one.
Pitco says basically 3 to 7% per listings were
Cent.
What? Oh, cents per listing were
Tekken Sports.
Tekken Sports. Why do they give them stupid names that you can't read? It's a bit more, I think, is about 50% per listing.
50 cent.
I did not read that sentence well.
Yeah, I think text one is 50 cent. If you translate that to UK, I think that's about somewhere between 36 and 40p in today's translation. But the question is, which one does the better job? Because at the moment, I pay a VA roughly sort of. And what am I paying at the moment? 40p. I think I'm paying about 38 or 40p a listing. So it's about on par with what Tekken Sports is charging on his. But obviously more expensive than that one. So I'd be interested to see what it's like.
Dan says that he'd pay to get everything cross-listed as well.
Yeah.
Resell says we can't afford USA. I'm not, because I can't be bothered listing. That's very true.
I'm tempted, Dan, to speak to my VA and see if they offer a cross list. A lot of them do. And see what they would charge to do the cross listing. And then it would be done. What I would do is I would cross list everything from eBay across. And once everything is across, like maybe have a cut off of the weekend, and that's when I stop listing new stuff. And then from the Monday, when I'm listing new stuff again, I would just keep on top of it. I would have to say to myself,
easy to cross list.
Yeah, it's just boring. I hate it. It's boring.
You can pay me to cross list.
You want to do it?
Oh, yeah, you pay me. Do I just have to sit there and watch telly while I cross list?
You just have to You just have to press a few buttons, cross list, and go through the listing and just make sure all the things are filled in correctly.
You want me to cross list all your eBay stuff?
Yeah. You want to do it?
You can buy me a holiday for it.
Well, yeah. I'll take it at this rate here.
50%.
I'll go. It's not fucking percent. 7 cents. 7 cent a listing, which is about 5p. Is that all right?
No.
Yeah, but if you do 100, babe, that's £5.
That's not even a kebab.
Not even a kebab.
And it's certainly not a Pepe's. Jesus.
But if you want to help me with that,
If it's a one-off thing where you just
It's
need
not-
it,
right, it's not difficult, but it's boring as hell. That's
That's
why I only
fine.
do 10 at a time.
that's fine.
That's all I can manage for.
But it's a one-off thing, isn't it? You just once it's all cross-listed off eBay, then
It's
you're
on.
going to do the rest.
I'm going to do it on an ongoing basis.
All right, okay, I'll
Bloody
do
hell,
cross-list.
gee, I've got an employee out of this show tonight. She won't do it though. This is the
I have
thing.
to keep him sweet so that he keeps buying me holiday.
If you do that, I'll pay for the next holiday.
You were anyway.
Exactly. I've won.
Yes, I'll do it.
I've won at life. Okay. Thank
See,
you. Thank you,
get
babe.
your AI to do that. Where are we up to?
Will you
Oh,
do
the
Dan's
rally-
for them?
What?
Dan, will you do Dan's for him as well? And he'll pay you, probably.
Go for it. I'll do everybody's. Just send them my way.
The Rally Christmas Parade is the Saturday
Before Thanksgiving. I thought it was afterwards. But that's great because that means if we come for the parade, we also get to experience Thanksgiving as well. Yay!
Dan says, I will buy you a Florida holiday if I win 208 million tomorrow. I tell you what, Dan, I'm gonna hold you to that.
I'm going to screenshot that.
Everybody, that is evidence.
Yep. We are well in for that. Dan says we currently have 1,100 items on eBay and only 50 on Vinted. It's going to take months to get it all onto Vinted.
That's the problem, Dan. That's the problem. It takes a lot of dedication to get that many across. I mean, you can use Sellerator, you can use Crosslist, you can use Zip Sale, you can use all those, but it's still the time it takes you to do it. It's much quicker than doing it manually. Of course it is, but it's just fucking boring. It's just horrendously mind-numbingly boring to do it.
Well, it's fine if I can sit there with one of my programs on in the background
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
just do whatever. What is wrong with you, doggy? Why?
She is very, very restless.
Why? What is the matter with you? You need a wee.
Do you want to go and let her out?
Oh,
I was going to go and let her out. She's migraine. She probably needs
this
a
is
wee.
nothing new. She's done this literally all day. Come on, let you have a wee.
Chris has AI and Bell working for him. Accelerate is very easy as well, Daniel. They're all easy. Zip Sale's easy as well. They're all very, very easy. And I've also tried Crosslist. Very easy, but just boring. And it's still like, the problem is, right, it doesn't fill in everything. So what happens is even Crosslist doesn't do it. Crosslist, like, you can upload all your eBay to Crosslist. And then when you click the button to send it to Vinted, it opens all the listings up in Vinted on separate tabs, which is great. But you've still got to go through and you've still got to click a few boxes and, tick a few things and make sure it's all right. And also, if you've got like capital letters in your title, you've still got to change that. So it's like, there's nothing difficult, right? Anybody thinking about doing cross-listing, there's absolutely nothing difficult about it. It is just boring. I just find it really boring. But it's just one of them necessary evils. I mean, at the end of the day, we could be doing a real job, couldn't we? And then we'd be like, imagine now you're sitting like in your office job. This is no offense to anybody who has a proper job, by the way. But like for us as resellers, full timers, like if I was having to go back to my normal job with a boss and everything, I'd be sat there thinking, I wish I was at home cross-listing right now. I would. And then I'd regret not doing all the cross-listing properly because that could get me more sales. I mean, there's no could about it. if I cross-list everything in my eBay store, I will make more money. So why aren't I doing it? You know what it is? Laziness. Well, let's be honest about it. That's all it is, isn't it? Lazy. And this is kind of a topic for another day or a podcast or something. But I do think, like, as a reseller, if you've got like a lazy streak, it can be very detrimental as a self-employed person if you've got a lazy streak. And I do have a lazy streak. I think most of us have, but like I can be really lazy sometimes. Anyway, Chris Tyler says, any ladies want to AI for me must be single.
So he doesn't want me then?
Oh, you don't want Belle to do your listings for you, Chris? Is she all right? Did she go for a wish?
She went out and now she's got a licky mat with peanut butter, which will keep her occupied for about 30 seconds.
I was going to say, yeah, 5 minutes max. Jason, I have 5 auctions ending tonight while the show is on, hoping for great results. We'll let you know how it ends. Oh, nice one, Jason. Let us know. Auctions are something that I haven't done for a long, long time.
No.
I don't think people...
Even I do. I don't do auctions if I put anything.
No. The problem with the auctions, obviously, you can end up like getting a lot less. Sometimes you can get more than what you like think. But also, I think people are when they're shopping these days, like I'm the same as well.
Instant.
People want something now. Like the whole Amazon thing. I can buy it now and I can have it tomorrow delivered to my house. I don't even need to leave the house. People want that, and people don't want to wait, I don't think, unless the only reason why they might wait a week or 10 days is if they're going to get a true bargain.
That's it.
That is it.
If it's something that I really want that's quite expensive, like I did which I've just sold, to be fair, my Doc Martin sandals, I bought them off eBay and I was struggling to get them at a price I wanted. So I did do auction. I bought from an auction on that, and I actually got outbid on a few different pairs because they were just going higher than what I wanted. But eventually I did get them and I was willing to wait, but not very often unless it's something where I need to get it cheaper, and that's what I'm hoping for on the auctions. But 9 out of 10 times I always get outbid anyway because I forget about them. I even, I put my maximum in, but then I always forget about them, and then I miss the end bit, and somebody will just pip you by like 2p at the end.
Well, you clearly didn't do your maximum then.
Well, no, because if I'd seen it had gone up by 2p, I'd have gone up a little bit more.
Well, you clearly didn't put your you didn't put your maximum in, did you? Put your absolute top line in.
I know, but I'm still disappointed when I forget, and then I haven't been able to like have the option of going slightly higher.
Justin says, hey, Chris, I've noticed a drop in sales on eBay over the past 7 to 8 days. I usually use a fixed ad rate of 5%, but I'm wondering if I should also try running a £5 daily ad campaign. It's up to you, Justin. It's worth it's worth a try, but what kind of ad campaign are you going to do? Are you talking about pay-per-click? Are you talking about off-site? Shop ads. What personally, I don't like any of those. But it depends what you sell and what kind of shop you are running.
His next question is, do you think it's worth it? I'm not entirely sure how it works.
Yeah, personally, for me, I wouldn't. If it were mine, I wouldn't do the daily, like the pay-per-click stuff, the advanced.
We talked about this a lot last week.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I always advocate for people to test things in their store, including different kinds of ad campaigns.
If you didn't watch last week's show, maybe go back and have a look at it, because he did do a breakdown of like how much it would have cost him if you'd have done a pay-per-click compared to, what was the other one you had it on?
Advanced and general.
Yeah.
General.
So, and to be fair, if in theory the pay-per-click would have worked out a lot more expensive,
considerably
lot more expensive. So it might be worthwhile going back and just watching, even if you just watch that bit from last week's show.
Try and fast forward to it. Don't ask me whereabouts it was.
It was an interesting breakdown that he did.
Jamie on Facebook says eBay's dying. It's all relative, isn't it? Maybe it is for some.
Yeah.
My eBay's not dead. I've had some shocking weeks, don't get me wrong, and we've talked about this in the past. I've had some terrible weeks this year, but at the moment, it's all right. It seems to have stabilised a bit. Touch wood.
Yeah, I've only got a cross list once, and then it's just maintained.
Exactly.
See, my brain is saying, okay, I'll do this. I don't mind if it's a one-off, even if it's monotonous and it might take a while. I'll do it. If he said to me, "Will you cross list permanently?" My brain would go, "No, I'm not doing that." That's the way this works up here. No.
Resell for rescue. Thanks, Chris. But to be fair, I work from home, so I do my cross listing when I work on calls when it's not.
Best way to do it.
Lisa, do you think we should cross list every day on Vinted, like putting new items up every day on eBay? Yeah, I think that's the way. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert on Vinted, but what I've found is on the days when you're listing, cross listing,
you get sales,
much more activity. As soon as I've pumped up 10 new listings, things get favorited like straight away within minutes, because obviously people have saved searches set up. I have saved searches, so when Summit pops up, people are favoriting it, and then you get to send out the offers and stuff. So definitely works out.
And not only that, a lot of people, when they look on Vinted, will also look at newest listed first, hoping to be able to get a bargain rather than the old stuff that's on there. So they'll filter it. You can filter it to like newest items.
Yeah. Des Lynham says motivation, laziness, and fatigue. These are the challenges when you are your own boss.
Just described me, and I'm not my own boss.
Especially with a few setbacks.
She's coughing her head off down there.
Daniel on Facebook says, I'm winding down my reselling to go back to work. Fair enough, Daniel. You know what? I don't blame anybody if that is a decision that
Chris
you come
has
to.
Considered it a number of times.
Thought about it. I mean, I'm doing all right, but I still sometimes think about it.
He almost became a train driver.
I nearly applied. That video I made where I was looking at the train driver jobs that were coming up, because there's a big recruitment drive at one point. I, honest to God, was seriously thinking about that. I was seriously thinking about going for it. New career, new start.
I think we've had this conversation over and over again, and as fantastic as reselling is and being your own boss, and we get people do it for a multitude of reasons. But then there's also the other side of it where it's sometimes nice to just have that knowing income, regular income on a monthly basis without having to think about, you've literally just got to go into work and do your job and go home, and it shuts off.
There is a lot to be said for that. And also, you can book off 6 weeks a year holiday. It's
I'm finding that quite difficult at the moment.
You know that if you are ill, you don't have to force yourself to get, like, I've been really poorly this year. Like early this year I was poorly. Then I've had weeks where I've been really poorly, but I've had to get up and do the job. I've had to go and pull the orders. I've had to go out and post, even though I've been really ill. I mean, I had about a month, longer than a month in January, where I really wasn't right for a long time, and it was very hard work, but I had to go through it. But there is a lot to be said. Cookie,
she has got it on her today, hasn't she?
Get her to sit down now, babe.
Come on, lie down.
She's proper winding me up.
What is wrong with you today?
So yeah, there's a lot to be said for it. So I do not blame anybody who feels like they need to be back in a job. James D said, my eBay business is mainly auctions. Oh, that's interesting, James.
500 plus a month, all ending on the same day, but it's a niche that I sell in a unique items, a collectible category.
Wow.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's the first time I've heard somebody say that that's how they operate the business. But it would, if you've got the stock available for that, then that would give you a really great turnover, constant stock.
Lee says, I received an email from eBay today telling me that they are applying a discount code to some of my listings, which I understand that they cover. This is new to me. Do these coupons genuinely help?
Well, it's not going to hurt, is it, Lee? It's not going to hurt, because coupons do.
I love it when you get an item where it's got a coupon on
it. They do help. I know a lot of. I assume you're a private seller, Lee, because I know a lot of. I've seen some posts. I won't say a lot. That's probably the wrong phrase, but I've seen some posts where people have said that eBay have applied coupons to private listings just to help give them a boost. Normally the business ones, when you get coupons from eBay, are co-funded, like 60-40. I don't use them anymore because I don't like the way they operate. I don't find them to be transparent. But if you're getting it completely free, then I won't worry. It's only going to do good, really.
James says his eBay his buy it nows are up and down. Sold 2 items today after nothing over the weekend. Mind you, I haven't listed many buy it nows recently. Pink Panther eBay has competition now. They don't have the monopoly like they used to have. They certainly do, and they are adapting, aren't they? They are slowly adapting and changing because they know they have to keep up with the new companies that are popping up all over the place.
Yeah, they're still the biggest, though. They're still the biggest company. They're still the best platform.
But they wouldn't be if they just sat there and thought they didn't need to do anything.
Yeah, they're definitely in a bit of a period of change at the moment, eBay. That's what I feel like. Chris says, I did a bit of cross-dressing
when I was younger, but no chance nowadays due to my fuller figure. Justin says, I recently signed up for the Crosslist web app, but when I try to list an item on Vinted, it won't let me post anything that might weigh over 2 kilograms. Am I doing something wrong?
That doesn't sound right, Justin, but I don't use Crosslist. There's probably a setting somewhere in there that you need to just have a look at, but I'm not 100% familiar. I've used Crosslist.
Anybody else use that one? That might
have there will be some in the chat. I have used Crosslist. There was somebody before who mentioned it. I've used it, but I just preferred Accelerator. I just found that the system worked better, but they're all very, very similar.
Fluffy the Muffin says self-employed is a constant grind.
It is. My brother's considering being a train driver. The only problem is finding a route that isn't going to be driverless, which is that's true. Yeah, a lot of driverless stuff now, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's coming in it.
Resell said, I think if I had to go back in an office 4 days plus per week, I'd try reselling full time. But like you say, a fixed pay, so bills are paid at the moment, and I work from home other than 2 days per month. Well, on that note, it's something that is potentially in my future at the moment, not necessarily reselling. But yeah, my job currently is a little bit unpredictable because the force, because I work for Devon and Cornwall Police still, the force are potentially relooking at the hybrid working system and not allowing people to work fully from home. So obviously if that happens, I cannot be spending 40% of my time working in Devon each week. So that's a watch this space, which is happening at the moment with me. And Chris has really jumped on that with, let's do reselling together.
It's not really something that I want to do, but it's an option.
It is.
I don't want to do it. The reason I don't particularly want to do it is because I'd have to change the entire structure of the business. I'd either have to go limited company and we both work for the company, or we do 2 sole traders and we have 2 separate businesses. That's the options.
But that's a lot of work for me to do.
Well, it's not. It's the same,
You do a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's admin mostly. It's what you're doing now, and you're more dedicated than me. I get lazy. You don't. You just crack on with it.
You're going to do all my picking and packing. I can't lug them boxes around.
Of course I'd do that. I do the packing, you do the listing. If you can sit there and list, then I'll pick and pack.
For anyone that's watching us that might not be aware, I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's not as straightforward as me just going, oh, let's just go get another job and let's just do this, because I have to be aware of my condition because it can be severely impacted if I'm too physically active. So I'm not sitting here being a lazy ass because I don't want to move boxes. So yeah, it's not quite as simple as just.
No, the problem is that we would have to change the entire structure of how we work, and that's not a problem if that's what we have to do. But Belle's not all in on it anyway. But if there's no other option, we will do it. We would have to think about the way we store things because we probably wouldn't have the room at the house. We would have to consider the business structure, limited company or 2 sole traders. Partnership's not an option because it would give us a silly, a joint VAT limit of 90k, which when we would have to go over to earn a living, so that would be pointless. So yeah, 2 separate businesses or a limited company, and that's the way I'd have to go.
Lisa's just said there, maybe
not
do a
good.
store with Bell that has less items, but they are higher priced. So the items you have, so it's a smaller store. But anyway, it's a bridge we will cross.
One day, maybe.
It might be sooner than we think at the moment. But yeah, so that's a bit of a watch this space for us.
You never know.
You know, you assume working for the cops that unless you do something majorly wrong, your job is pretty secure, but not necessarily the case when you move out of force.
Triple R says it's hard being your own boss, but love the flexibility. Yep, true.
Yep.
I want to take a few days off. No problem. No questions asked yet. And we found that this week. We're trying to book a holiday in September. Can Bell get the time off? No. We'll try this
short
week.
Staff, but they're going to get rid of it.
We've tried this week, that week, the next week, the week after, the week before. Nothing. I can get the time off. I can just go.
They've just changed again. They're always changing the structures. They've just changed our threshold levels in the office, and what they've done is they've changed the threshold levels while we're already low staffed. So what does that mean? We only need to have 1 or 2 staff members off, and we're below threshold. So it's just a nightmare at the minute.
It's now becoming ridiculous. You can't even book any time off now.
And usually it's I can't get. It's Fridays. We're literally barely above threshold on a Friday. So if you want to book a week off and it includes a Friday, nope.
Well, what your next question to your boss is, what week are there any Fridays free in September?
That first week, it wasn't just a Friday. It was the Monday. It was the Tuesday and the Wednesday.
If there's not even a Friday available, then we can't have a week off.
I know.
So then your question is, well, how do you expect me to use my leave up?
What did you say to me though when I said that before? You was like, right, well, when you've got all this annual leave at the end of the year because you can't use it, and everyone's in the same boat, what are they going to do then?
Chris enjoyed the unboxing video. Thanks, Chris. I won't be buying anything from Unboxing Heaven again, but I'll always do unboxings. Like if I see something interesting, I will. And I will have. I'm waiting on a couple more parcels, but I've got a Fleek unboxing coming up. If that's interesting you, that'll be coming.
Deborah loved the unboxing vid. What a load of tush!
Yeah,
that duck race price saved the day.
Yeah,
to be fair.
That cost £52. £52.
No,
£62.
Tell them the dress. The dress isn't bad, is it? The dress is worth about 25 quid.
The dress could be worth about 25, and there's even solds on that dress, so that could save it. These memory cards, I'm not convinced the quality is that good, but they're worth £10 each. The quality might not be great.
It's maybe not complete. Oh
shit.
He's maybe not completely at a loss.
So not a complete loss.
Des
and a power bank that I'm going to keep.
Yeah. Des says 90% of my items are auctions. Buy it now don't seem to work for me. I just accept offers.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Brummy Time Lords in.
Hi, Brummy. Lisa said, how do eBay work out our scores for the automated feedback? They keep putting me up 0.1%, then taking it back off me, then giving it me back. I don't have any recent negatives.
Well, it's based on like a period of time, isn't it? So as things drop off and come back in, and you've got neutrals as well, which will come into that. So neutrals will be in there, which will be affecting your score probably. But yeah, it's over a set period. So as it moves along, some drop off.
Oh, Santa's given us all the Christmas parade dates for the next 5 years.
Bloody hell. Daniel on Facebook says, I'll still be self-employed, but as a spark. I only took up reselling to care for my ill son, but it's not working for me. Fair enough.
But you gave it a try. That's the thing. You gave it a try. It's not working. And this is a different, you can flick between, can't you?
Yeah.
And you could still, if you've got time, you can still work and do it on the side.
Yeah. Crosslist is putting it in the wrong category. Yeah. Accelerator does the same thing. It tries to guess, and I'm guessing it's using AI to try and figure out, or it's using your title and description to figure out what. But Accelerator does the same thing. That's why you need to manually do each one, not the whole thing. Basically, Accelerator will throw all the information into a new Vinted listing, And then you've just got to go through it and make sure it's all correct. And often the category might be wrong, or the brand might be wrong, or the color might be wrong. Sometimes the color is not even filled in, or the size isn't filled in. So you have to fill those in. The main thing is it pulls over the description, it pulls over the photos, and pretty much the rest you have to do and check. So yeah, they all seem to do that, Daniel. None of them are sort of fallible or infallible.
Lisa says she gets tired with colitis plus other symptoms. And we find a lot of people, when we've had this conversation, a lot of people do reselling because they have conditions like mine.
Dan lives with it as well.
Yeah, where with people with conditions like this, chronic conditions, where it is very hard to go out and go to work, it is a way of earning some money.
Resell for Rescue says, I'll get you in with the NHS. They've got an office in Chester. It could be worth having a conversation with Lee. Could get in at the NHS.
Get me in doing what?
Don't know, whatever job he does.
I've never worked for I haven't worked for anything other than the police for years. But I have many skills.
Limelight says, I'm sure Merseyside would take you on, not too far. You still really have to have like a hybrid role, because it is quite far to go every day, isn't it? It's an hour's drive.
Yeah, it's the commuting. It's not that I can't go out to work every day. I can go out to work every day. But
if you had to do an hour there, hour back and work,
if I was having to do that commuting, I wouldn't last very long.
You'd be dead on your ass doing that.
I wouldn't last very long.
You were struggling when we were in Devon, like doing a half an hour commute. That was enough.
When we first moved to Devon, it was longer than that. It was about a 40-minute commute to and from work. And I was struggling with that, because by the time I've finished my day's work, I'm exhausted, and then I'm having to do a 40-minute drive, and I get to a point where I don't feel like I'm safe driving because I'm so tired. So it's stuff like that I've got to take into consideration, because even just sitting at a desk job staring at a screen all day is tiring for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cheryl says, what work do you do?
At the moment, I work in safeguarding. So I do all sorts of stuff.
Speedfoot says, have you ever used Boom? It's one of the wholesalers I've never used Speed. No, never used Boom. Right, let me talk about eBay authentication before we crack on with the show. eBay authentication. Okay, had a bit of a thing with eBay's authentication last week. Well, it was about maybe 2 weeks ago now. I forgot to mention it last week. I sent a pair of trainers. They were like a £90 pair of Nikes. So they had to go through authentication. You don't get a choice. And the buyer doesn't get a choice. It goes through. And it went to authentication. It got authenticated as genuine. So that's all good. But it got rejected because of an odor on the shoes. An odor on the shoes.
There was no odor.
There was no odor. When they came back, I said, Belle, is there an odor on that? She said, no, there's no odor.
Just smell like trainers.
I wouldn't mind, right? They were listed as pre-owned. Not perfect. Pre-owned with wear. And they came back rejected by authentication, whose job really it is to say whether something's real or not. It should be my job to describe an item accurately. And they rejected it as having an odor. They arrived back. There was no odor.
We sniffed the trainers.
We sniffed them. I shoved my face in them. There was no odor other than a normal second-hand pair of trainers. So they got rejected. So what I ended up doing was I listed them on Vinted. I sold them to the same buyer on Vinted. So eBay completely lost that sale.
And has he been happy? I'm sure he's got them. And is he?
He received them about a week ago. I've not heard from him. I assume that's all okay. As you know, you don't get your feedback or your money for 2 weeks. So yeah, everything seems okay.
I'm sure he would have messaged you by now, though, if he wasn't happy with it.
So bit weird, and they rejected them because I don't know, not as described, I guess. Which to me doesn't seem right.
Belle could be your full-time sniffer.
Yeah. It doesn't seem right to me, that. And about 6 months ago, just around Christmas time, eBay put a thing out to a certain group of people, like, and I got this email saying, would you like to sign up to this new service whereby if you get any, like, what did they describe it as? If you get any policy complaints or policy defects on your account, this team will automatically review them and give you a phone call to discuss them. Right. Now, I'd never heard anything for months after signing up to this, but unbeknownst to me, I was actually on that team. Yeah, I was actually on that sort of group, that test group, and I had this rejection due to an odor. And a day later, after that, I got a phone call from eBay. Oh, it's the policy team. You're part of this group, and you've had this policy defect thing. And I thought we'd ring up and discuss it. And they, to be honest with you, they couldn't understand it either. And also, they said to me, are you sure you listed it? Because it had been taken down, they couldn't actually look at the original listing. They said to me, are you sure you listed it as pre-owned with the pre-loved with wear bit on it? And I said, I'm pretty sure I did. And when I checked afterwards, I had listed it as that. Because they were saying, if I maybe listed it in the wrong condition, like if I'd have listed it as brand new and it went to authentication and they found it to be pre-owned, then they might reject it for that reason because not as described. But I hadn't done that. They were secondhand. So this was really annoying. Like, this was a £90 pair of trainers that they rejected.
Limelight said, did you tell the buyer on Vinted about the order? It was the same buyer, the same person who bought it off.
They found it on Vinted.
Found it on Vinted. So he was already aware of why it had been declined in the first place.
He was absolutely fine with it. Because the thing is, it had passed authentication. Like, it even said on the email that it had passed authentication and it had been rejected for reason odor. Like, who's deciding that? Somebody with fucking supersonic smell fucking function.
Car boot, Chris, smelly shoes.
Just annoying.
You're selling second-hand shoes. What do they expect?
It's second-hand shoes. That's all it is.
I know. Jeff says the guy at eBay doing the verification that day probably hadn't washed his hands and was smelling his own funk.
Maybe, yeah.
Just going back up. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah says that I must be feeling anxious. I had a bit of a meltdown last week when I realised it was becoming more to the top of the pile of things to being looked at. Mainly because it's not fun having to look for another job. It is one of the most stressful things ever, having to look for a new job. And this might sound big-headed, but I'd like Chris to back me up. I'm not worried I can't find another job. I've never struggled to find a job. I'm quite good at, I've got good qualification, I've got good skills and everything else. That's not the issue. But as Deborah's put there, it's just shit when your life's just kind of rolling along nicely. My job's fine. My health's working fine with the job. I've just reached, after years of leaving GMP, being at a pay scale where I'm back up to a comfortable pay. And now it could change.
Yeah.
And that's the hard bit. That's the bit I'm struggling to get my head around, because I just don't want to have to start looking for
especially when you've proved yourself. You proved yourself that you can work miles away from where your job is and do as good or pretty much better than people who are in the office. And you've proved that. So it's like, why would they want to mess with that and lose somebody who is a really good asset to the team?
I know.
Why would you do that?
My last PDRs, my personal development folders, over the 2 years I've been here, have been excellent and good. So it's like they have no issues with me whatsoever as a worker. Just
doesn't make sense. They'd rather lose her and stick to it and go down the policy route, rather lose a good employee.
Let's not say this, because my supervision are really fighting for me. My supervision don't want to lose me, but the force don't. It is true in big companies like the police. You're a number.
Yeah,
you're just a number. And they're not bothered about me. They don't care if I'm a good worker. If the powers that be above say it's going to happen, this is what my boss is saying now. It's out of their hands, and it's just shit, isn't it?
Yeah, It's not good. Fingers crossed though. Nothing is decided. It's being reviewed. Nothing is decided. So you just have to wait and see and just see where it takes you.
Yeah.
And it could be a long time yet because policy changes don't necessarily happen overnight.
It's not a policy change, though, is it? The policy's already there. They're talking about enforcing it, which isn't a big thing.
Well, it's still, you can make it a big thing.
I could.
You can.
Chris has told me I'm not allowed to go out without a fight.
No. You don't give up your career without a fight. Not after you've proved that you can do it for 2 years. 2 years she's been working out of force. Not a single problem. So you don't go down without a fight. And
I've been seen in the office in those 2 years more than some of my colleagues. And that speaks volumes.
Yeah. Well, all these things we've thought about. Limelight, all these things we've thought about.
Oh, these are all things that I will be sort of going down.
These all come out.
Yeah, we will be bringing them out of the bag as and when they needed. What was it that I've applied for at the moment? A freedom of information. I've applied for a freedom of information from Devon and Cornwall Police. It's something that one of my boss suggested I do to find out if there's any other people within the force that live out of force area and work for them, because at the moment they're claiming I'm the only person that doesn't live within Devon and Cornwall and works and like, so yeah, so I'm waiting for that to come back. But like I said, they are trying. My bosses are trying the hardest.
Yeah,
so I can't fault them. They are being good with me.
Big thank you to all our VIP members, all going across the screen here. Thank you so much for all your extra support of the channel. It really is appreciated. It's $2.99 a month to join the VIP, and that mainly, the main thing that gets you, other than this big shout out that you got here, the main thing it gets you is entry into our Discord group, and we chat all about reselling in there. If you've got a question, you can pop it in. Somebody will help with it. It's not a leads group, so don't join it thinking you're going to be told where to buy the best bargains and stuff. That it's not a leads group. It's a chat group. It's a help group. It's a small community where we all help each other. So that's $2.99 a month. That's all it is, and it's less than a coffee every month. And thank you to everybody who's part of that group. Our VIP members going down the bottom of the screen. Thank you all.
That was Alex has put there. He did 15 years at Ford, and then they let him go after he worked his way up. No exit interview.
It's horrible, that, isn't it? Horrible.
Yeah, and it's sad when you work for a big corporation with thousands of employees. You are just a number. That's the bottom line.
Go for it, Chris. Go for it.
What's that? I know they are. Right, on a Dame Diane Johnson, Minister for Policing and Crime Prevention. I'll have a word. You can save my job. Go.
Do it, Chris.
I'll do all your cross listings.
She would have known. She would. She'd do it.
I will. I'll pay you back in cross listings. See, you just need to know the right people in the right places.
Any more hot topics before we get ready for the duck race? Any more? I'm going to take that banner off. Thank you again to all our VIP members. See you all next time. Speaking of VIP, when you two visit for the Christmas parade, Mrs. Claus will get you special VIP passes for premium seating behind the scenes full access. Oh, that sounds good. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Do I get to dress up?
No.
Do I get to dress up as an elf?
I was going to say, please don't tell me that. No.
Oh, it's me. So we could be. You could be
in it.
You could literally
He's
be
short enough.
You could literally be from the film Elf because he's a giant elf. You could be Buddy the elf.
You could be Warwick Davis as an elf.
Pretty much. Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, thanks, Santa.
We're definitely coming, Santa. I'm trying. We're trying.
Hoping. Yeah. We're hoping.
I'm constantly saying to him, the minute he mentions about going to a new coffee shop, I'm like, still got to make it to Bad Cat Cafe. Top of my list. Got to go there.
Right, are we
Rachel
ready?
Fantastic has joined us.
Oh, hi, Rachel. We were talking about you before.
Were your ears burning?
This is what I bought from Rachel. She absolutely saw me coming with this. Ripped me off big time. But she did post it well, which is a lot to be said on Vinted.
Yeah.
For good postage. The Tikinator.
So you missed the bit where he said he got 3 tikis today and one was broke.
Yeah. Someone else sent some out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Chris. Me and Santa had the same thought. You could come as Buddy the Elf.
Can I not? Can I just be in the audience? Can I just be in the crowd? By gum.
I might not be making it to you this year, Santa, but I will be watching it. It's gonna become my tradition that I'm gonna put my Christmas
It's the start
tree.
of Christmas.
I'm gonna put my Christmas tree up while watching your parade on the TV like last year. What? Oh, I missed when he said it was this year.
I'm sure he'll let us know nearer the time.
Send me those dates in a text message.
You have to put it on your calendar. Right, let's get ready for the duck race, folks. Just make sure I'm not missing anybody.
You're doing it this today.
Oh, babe.
We can do rock, paper, scissors, but you always lose.
No, we'll do it because if I'm doing it anyway, I haven't got anything to lose, have I?
Jason says all his auctions have ended and no sales. It
What?
was rubbish.
Oh, no.
This is the 166th duck race.
Wow. That's a lot of duck race, isn't it?
Can you believe we're halfway through the year already?
I know.
How is that happened? That's just crazy, isn't it?
Share screen for the duck race. Are we all ready for this?
Every time we do this and you go share screen, I just have flashbacks of when we did the whole duck. We did the whole duck race without sharing the screen once, which was slightly embarrassing.
It was funny, wasn't it?
Was for everybody watching.
Right, rock, paper, scissors. Oh, yeah. Ready?
Scissors.
Ah, fuck's sake.
Told you always lose.
Best out of 3.
Nope. 191 days until Christmas. I know, I'm on the countdown, Jeff.
Right, we're ready. 2 minutes on the clock. And they're off. The ducks are off. They've gone to a flying start. I can't even tell who's leading and who's not here. Mr. AJ's is up there. Dirt Wangler. Lin, The Crazy's Life. 49 Toddy. Tap Peddler, even though he's not here, he's not allowed to win tonight. Speedfoot. Tap Peddler leading at the moment. Peter Ray's up there. Mr. AJ, see what you buy. It's all very, very close. Limelight Vinty now coming through the middle of the pack. Cavalli at the top there. Speedfoot Flips is dropping off now. We've got Phil Higginson's there. Packet Boy. We've got Altnax, Resell for Rescue. It's a tight pack at the front there. AMPR's floundering at the back with Ali Evans, Steve O'Brano. Peter Ray's lost it now. Shab has disappeared off the back. Deborah Sardine is up there as well. Too busy looking for fish. Phil Higginson leading the pack. Karen Evans is close as well. Emsden UK. I've not seen them tonight. Where is Emsden UK? I don't think they're here. Another one who's not allowed to win. I know, yeah. Where is everybody? Chris Tyler, Tiny Clout. Chris Tyler's leading now with the Rudolph Duck with 40 seconds on the clock. Lost 1X is there. Lin, Karen Evans. It's all very, very close. Pitco's just dropping off. Jamie D's there. Ready, Steady, Retro. It's close. Linlin's still leading. Linlin's been up there for quite a while now. Peter Ray's come back to the front. All the way from the back. All the way to the front. Peter Ray's Adventures is having a go. Ali Evans now with the Naked Duck. Ali Evans was out of it. Now she's at the front. Steve O'Brano as well has come from the back. Packet Boy. Steve O'Brano is at the front with 10 seconds to go. A bona fide rock star is going to win. No! Steve-O's not going to win. It's flipping Phil. No, it's not. It's Carol McDonald. Carol McDonald is going to win. Abel also was very close there. Carol McDonald wins the duck race. Well done, Carol. I don't know if Carol has won the duck race before, but well done to you, Carol. And that is it for the duck race. Carol McDonald wins. Carol, you have won. Let me take this off. Carol, you've won this amazing duck drinky thing, sippy cup. This came out of the video at the weekend, the unboxing. So if you've not watched the video, it's even got a lanyard in there and everything. Some stickers. That is yours from the unboxing at the weekend.
Rachel says her daughter's finished senior school today. It's always a big
Bloody
moment.
hell.
It's always a big moment when that happens. Always a big moment. How do you think I feel, Rachel? My eldest son gets married next week. Married. I'm not old enough to have an official daughter-in-law. I should say, we're not old enough to have an official daughter-in-law. But it's happening. It's crazy.
Is Carol McDonald here?
I haven't seen her in
No,
today.
I haven't seen her. Bumcracks put the Christmas parade details in there. 22nd of November this year.
22nd of November. That's a bit early to put my tree up, really, isn't it?
5-6 weeks, end of November. It's not too bad, is it? I think you put it up earlier than that.
I've never put it up before the 1st of December.
I think you bloody did.
No, last year was the first time I'd put it up early when I watched the thing, and I can't remember why we put it up early.
Probably after you watched the parade.
Yeah. Just before we go as well, one lot of tikis we've not mentioned on all the tiki talk. What else did we buy that was tiki this week? We spent a lot, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We spent a lot. In the range, they brought out like a summer collection of tiki solar lights, but they're like
big ones.
Big, they're massive.
That's what she said.
Shut up. So I convinced Chris to go and have a look, thinking, oh, we could buy one for the garden, and we came away with all three.
We bought 3.
We bought 3.
I couldn't leave the other 2 behind. So I had to buy all 3. Like, you never leave one behind.
So we've got 3 massive solar tiki statue things like in the garden now. They do look good though. They do look good. But yeah, we never spend a lot of money on stuff. That was a bit of a don't know, what would you call it? An impulse buy, I guess.
Kind of. Yeah. You dragged me there. So you've got to come and see these tikis.
I did, but I just thought we'd buy one. I thought it was because they were like, what was it, like 55 quid for the 3? Because one of them was slightly reduced compared to the other 2, but £55 on garden statue.
It's a bit much.
But it made me think about it when I went to let the dog out before.
Right.
I thought we have had a right tiki week this week.
No, there's a lot of tiki stuff. Right, everybody, we're pretty much done for tonight's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting, useful, probably not educational, but entertaining at worst. And I think we're going to let AI come up with something. Carol McDonald separates the field as the only 6-time duck race.
6 times.
That's
There's people
ridiculous.
in here that have never won it.
And they enter every time.
Oh my God.
What I thought we'd do is, because we started with AI, I thought we'd finish with AI. So we'll ask AI to come up with a reselling factoid to share with us, and then we'll end the show there. Let me just get ready for the show ending. So that
might be grandparents soon. Trust me,
Yeah,
I know
probably.
they're already discussing.
I think so.
Beginning of next year. I'm pretty
so.
sure we'll be looking at babies.
Thank you, everybody, again for joining us. Really appreciate you following the channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the like and the thumbs up. Even if you hated the show, you can still do it. Are we ready? Are we finished?
Yeah.
Are we finished?
Deborah said she saw those tiki things in the range and loved them. They are
Yeah.
super cute.
Yeah, we bought all 3. Right, okay, we're going to go to AI. Here we go. Can you find us a really interesting reselling factoid that you can share with our live audience on YouTube? And also, when you finish telling us a story, can you give everybody a big goodbye, thank you, and please subscribe at the end?
Here's a fun reselling fact. The global secondhand apparel market is projected to reach a whopping $367 billion by 2029. It's incredible to see how the love for sustainable and affordable fashion is driving that growth. And with that, thank you all so much for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.